Hello, world. It is an incredible honor and privilege and joy to be with you today, wherever you might be. Um, Welcome to VIWeek. This is the first virtual LabVIEW event hosted by the community members. My name is Chris Cellino, and it is an incredible honor to introduce this new event, which might be setting the tone for our community for who knows how long to come. So thank you for taking some of your time to join with me this morning as I introduce VIWeek and kind of take us on a journey through what our community has been working on, some new offerings, and to hopefully just stir up a sense of excitement and to welcome new folks who might have joined us by virtue of LabVIEW Community Edition. So let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm going to make an audacious claim. I think that the LabVIEW community is strong and capable and absolutely willing to evolve and turn itself into the kind of community that scientists and engineers, programmers, and just explorers in general will find useful, inclusive, and inspiring. Now, this community, this LabVIEW community that I'm saying is strong, we typically have touch points throughout the year. Things like NI Week and NI Days. We used to have developer days, and then we had certification summits. But for a variety of reasons and circumstances, COVID-19 not being the least of which is it's a tragedy our world is facing right now, those touch points have been lost. And one of the vital activities in our community is us talking with each other, sharing ideas, learning from one another. So in the absence of those regular touch points, Steve Watts came up with the idea of VIWeek. And what I love, VIWeek was conceived and executed inside of, I don't know, a week, maybe 2 weeks. So things are going incredibly well. I am proud and honored to be part of a community that can bring something of this magnitude and this scale together so quickly. And again, my hat's off to Steve Watts for starting all of this, plus all of the volunteers, and there are quite a few. Time would fail me if I listed all the folks like Derek, and I hope I pronounce your last name right, Bomarito, who put together the portal for VIWeek, which, by the way, if you haven't visited the portal, you can see all of the week's events and all of their times, various links, and abstracts by going to bit.ly/VIWeek, all lowercase, all one word. So if you haven't gotten the chance yet, check that out. Anyways, welcome to VIWeek. Now, I've made an audacious claim, again, that our community is strong and vibrant and willing to roll up our sleeves and do some really amazing things. And you should be raising your eyebrow and saying, Chris, what gives you that impression? And what are we going to talk about that kind of drives that home? Well, I'd like to take us on a brief tour of what our community has to offer that you may or may not be familiar with. So if you would, one of the cool things that we can do now, since we're all viewing this remotely, is in a second window, a web browser, if you would, open up your web browser and go to GCentral.org. And I'm going to take us there as well. When you get to GCentral.org, in the upper right-hand corner, click Community Resources. And that's going to take you to the landing page. Think of this as kind of your getting started or your entry point to figure out what all is going on in the community and how do I even know? What's the directory? Think of this as your phone book for your resources. So the first thing that I want to point your attention to, this is lots of watershed events have happened in our community this year. Not the least of which is the LabVIEW Community Edition was released. And here you can see where you can actually download the LabVIEW Community Edition and learn about it. And what I want to do is take us to the LabVIEW Wiki, where you can see all kinds of information about LabVIEW community that you can, again, download for free. That's going to beg all kinds of questions like, who can use it? When you say free, is it really free? Are the capabilities hamstrung in any ways? There are watermark. All those questions you can learn about from this page as well as from ni.com. Now, one of the other cool things is Michael Iviliotis of VI Shots did a live stream about, I don't know, say 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, where we introduced VI community, and we had NI representatives, and it was a part of this live stream. Eli Carey was the NI representative, and he walked us through what is this LabVIEW community thing. So if you haven't got the chance to check this out, please do. LabVIEW community. It is LabVIEW 2020 Professional Edition, free for non-commercial use. And you might be new to LabVIEW, and we're really excited to have you join our community. We want to welcome you and see you be successful. So what you'll also find in the LabVIEW wiki are a couple of getting started examples, and one I want to draw your attention to. I put one together. I called it LabVIEW Community and a Slice of Raspberry Pi. So here is a Bitbucket repository where you can actually download this example and get started using LabVIEW Community Edition. So super cool there. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's go back to GCentral Community Resources. So we have Getting LabVIEW Community right here. Something else, our community has a lot of conference touch points, but we also have a lot of online presence. And one of the online forums that we have is called LavaG. You might not have heard of LavaG before, and so I want to just take you on a really brief tour of it. So LavaG is where lots of conversation occurs around lots of really important topics to our community. For example, here's the LabVIEW Community Edition forum. This is all things LabVIEW community. We also have a GCentral community forum where we can discuss lots of things like what do we want GCentral to be, code repositories, just LabVIEW posts in general. And you can see they're close to 56,000 posts. So this is a very live and vibrant community. If you're not familiar with LavaG, please check it out. All right, what else have we got? So, as much as we all love VIWeek, and it's a fantastic event, again, we're missing it this year, and it's only this year. This is not canceled by any stretch of the imagination. But there are some other community in-person events that have started to spring up. If you've not heard of GDevCon, I highly recommend that you check this out. So GDevCon and GDevCon NA are community-led, completely independent conferences, in-person conferences. Again, there's a lot to read about here. You can get to it from gcentral.org, but if you're interested in registering, it'll be in Boulder for right now, October 28th and 29th. And that's in the United States. GDevCon NA stands for North America, but then there's also GDevCon in Europe. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get there this year. I'm a little bit upset about that, but it's going to be in CERN in Geneva, which, wow, wow. So again, this is on September 8th and 9th. So if you get the chance, check this out. Again, these are community initiatives, in-person initiatives that we're putting on. All right, what else have we got? So we've got some online forums, we've got some conferences, and then we have the LabVIEW wiki itself. If you've never been to the LabVIEW wiki before, I showed you very quickly one of the aspects of the wiki which talks about LabVIEW Community Edition, but that is the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. There is tons of information inside of here. Time would fail me even if I started to look, but a couple things I want to draw your attention to. You can get to that LabVIEW Community Edition page right from the home page. You can also learn about VIWeek right from the home page. You can also see what are all of the community events going on. Quentin Aldridge has been a master and passionate about making the LabVIEW Wiki a very powerful tool for all of us to both contribute to and learn from. So we have this events calendar he just got through putting together, and then there is a ton of information inside of here, like when were new features introduced in what version of LabVIEW, right here. You want to learn about different design patterns, like what's the actor framework or the queued message handler, all right here. You want to learn about VI scripting, just the sky is the limit. If you haven't visited the LabVIEW wiki, you're missing out. So please check out the LabVIEW wiki. Now, one of the other things we have these online discussion forums, we have lots of events occurring in person, we have the LabVIEW wiki. We've got some very passionate folks out there who are putting together blogs. So let me try and open that up right quick. Apologies, my computer's running a little bit slow because I'm doing this live streaming, but we'll get through it. So inside of the LabVIEW wiki, there's this list of blogs, and there's some very talented industry leaders and LabVIEW experts that are sharing their thoughts and conducting all kinds of conversation. And it's an extensive list. So please peruse this. These are resources at your disposal. All right, pressing on. If you've not heard of the LabVIEW Champions program, we are the crazy people who really love LabVIEW, passionate about it, and want to see everybody be successful using it because we love the language. We love the concept of graphical programming. So if you haven't visited the LabVIEW Champions page, here's your link. Now, National Instruments has a whole set of forums and community code, et cetera, all accessible from right here as well. So again, check it out. A couple other things, and then we'll transition away from what our community has. If you're unfamiliar with G-Package Manager, G-Package Manager is the third in our ecosystem of 3 package managers right now, and it is completely open source. It is completely community-based. And it's a fantastic technology, so if you get the chance, check it out here. And we'll be talking about the GCentral GitHub repository towards the end of the presentation, where we talk about how you can roll up your sleeves and make a difference. And oh, by the way, welcome to GCentral. GCentral is a new nonprofit organization that was started in late 2019. So this is, like I said, a nonprofit organization whose whole entire purpose is to enable the community to collaborate together. And we're going to spend some time on that. But this is something that myself and a couple of other folks are really passionate about. Again, a nonprofit started in about September of 2019. The centerpiece, the main value add of GCentral right now to our community is the ability to discover packages, these nice atomic offerings of code that you can get your hands on. And you might be familiar with some of those packages through VI Package Manager, one of the 3 package manager technologies in our ecosystem. Well, GCentral's attempting to make it easy for you to find packages regardless of type. That means G packages, VI packages, and NI packages. And this is a proof of concept. It's live right now. If you go to the home page, you can actually search for things like, I need a JSON toolkit. And I don't know, oh, look at here, great. So we've got JKI's JSON toolkit. We have lots of different things. And you can click on it and you can say, show me some package details. And you can actually download the package straight from this screen. Now, what I want to point out is what you're seeing was put together in about, say, 2 days worth of work from a gentleman named Matthias Boudot. And it was all volunteer work that he did because he believes in this idea of uniting and making our community code easy to find and use. So big props to him. You can learn about him and his company, Studio Bods. So I highly encourage you to check that out. But that's GCentral. Now, let's talk a little bit more about GCentral. This might be your first exposure to it, and if it is, welcome. So, like I said, we've started in September of 2019. We're coming up on a year, 6 months, 8 months. And I wanted to give everybody a progress report. What is the state of the union of GCentral? What's kind of going on and what's on the horizon? So again, you might be new to GCentral, and so I want to lay the groundwork before we actually talk about what's next and how you can roll up your sleeves. What is the vision? What's this thing all about? So when we say vision, we mean what is the perfect world that we could imagine? And GCentral's vision is a LabVIEW community making the best version of itself. That means roadblocked by no one. All of our efforts show up immediately and with a minimal amount of effort. So we have the charge of our own destiny. So that's our vision. All right, let's get a little bit more specific. We want to improve our capability as a LabVIEW community and as scientists and engineers and programmers through collaborating with one another. So our vision is to remove barriers to collaboration so that we can make the best version of ourselves. Okay, so who's this for, and kind of some more, what are we? GCentral is for programmers who need to find or share or collaborate on G reusable code or software engineering tools. GCentral is a nonprofit organization that provides this platform, and I just showed you some of what we have to offer, for G code packages and collaboration resources. And lastly, we are independent and driven by community experts. So who are we? Who are the people? Who are the names and faces behind GCentral? I'd like to introduce you to our board of directors. We've got Quentin Aldridge, who is our secretary. We have myself, I'm the founder, the president, and the treasurer right now. We have Danielle Joby, Eli Carey, and Francois Normandin. And I want to say thank you to each of these individuals. They are giving of their time and their passion and their creativity to make GCentral reality and make it very useful for everybody in the world. That's our hope. All right, who are we doing this with? Well, keep on reemphasizing, GCentral is a nonprofit, and so we very early engaged individuals who were interested in partnering alongside with us and volunteering their time. And I've already mentioned Matthias Boudreau from StudioBots, who has done an incredible job putting the indexer together. But I also want to mention a couple of folks from Soliton, specifically Siva Shankar and Naveen, I hope I get your last name right, Subramani, who have talked about, well, what could we make GCentral? Let's start defining some feature sets and putting some structure around what we offer to the world. So we couldn't do this without volunteers. Okay, that's who we are, who we're doing this with, who are we doing it for? The community. The community is at the center, not a business model. We don't have to worry about making trade-offs to see, well, which is going to drive the bottom line or which is going to, what decisions and features are going to bring us money. We don't have to worry about any of that. What we worry about is you. This is middle school, high school students, college students who maybe have just discovered LabVIEW Community Edition, research assistants and professors, programmers who've been investigating or have been waiting to investigate LabVIEW and want to start getting their applications up and running and pull code in like you can from other languages such as Python. Maybe a single employee at a startup or a consultant or a hobbyist. We are only successful if you are successful. Our success is measured by your efficiency in using LabVIEW. So everything that we're doing is for you. Well, what is it exactly that we're doing again? I've been throwing these words around like collaborate and sharing code, and well, specifically, what do we mean? Well, there are 4 facets to what GCentral is doing. We want to solve 4 problems. The first is the ability to easily and efficiently find and discover each other's work. And I want to be able to use your work. And that indexer that I showed you earlier on is, think of it like the global index. It's the dictionary of all the code in the world that you can get your hands on and search through lickety-split. Well, we also want to make it easy for you to not only find and use, but to build and give your efforts away. So the roadblocks for you building a package or a thing and giving it away should be close to 0. Your efforts and your ability to help the world shouldn't be gated by technology. And we're going to attempt to solve that problem. Well, you might not only want to give your code away, you might want to give it away and then have other people add features to it or maybe co-develop from the get-go. So we want to put that technology in your hands as well. And lastly, we want to give you a sense of confidence that what you're giving away or what you're using is trustworthy and quality. And so we've actually given some presentations in the past, specifically at the 2019 America CLA Summit. And you can get to that video. It's live right now if you go to this bit.ly, GCentral_explained. And it's about an hour-long video, which is way longer than I think anybody was going to want to watch. So what I did is I've broken up that presentation into this outline, minute by minute. So you can go to the specific spot that you might be interested in. And you can see at minutes 13, 26, and 35, we talk about what does it mean to find and discover, contribute, and co-develop with confidence. So those are 3 timestamps I want to point you to. The last one is at minute 8. Jeff Kadowski has endorsed and is actually talking about GCentral, and so you can hear his thoughts right there on minute 8 in this video. So there's that. All right, that's who we are, who we're working with. How's this whole entire thing going? Like I said, we've been up and running for a little while now. Let's talk about a progress update. Before I do that, I need to talk about the different facets that make up GCentral. And the centerpiece right now is that indexer. That's the ability for you to search online and find what's all the code out there. Well, there's a whole lot more that is not necessarily developed yet, and we're kind of in the thought process of what could this look like. So that's things like putting together a user manager, or we'll call them society rules. And we're all familiar with this concept. I'm going to lean on Amazon as an example. You might be searching for a product, and you want to find out, what do people say about this? Well, you need to be able to log in and leave your comments. You need to be able to give perhaps 5 stars. You need to know, well, this person who's giving comments, who are they? Are they a CLA, a CLD? How well should I listen to them? So that's the kind of user management login experience. We also need a whole bunch of website development, and that includes the user interface and the user experience. We want to give a nice, fresh look to the user interface so that it's a pleasure to navigate. Then we need some back-end stuff like NI Package Manager and potentially VI Package Manager repositories. So this is these package managers that sit on the back end that serve up information that is displayed through the indexer. And we're going to need, of course, web storage and servers. And then we think G-Package Manager, which is already indexed, kind of meets everything that we need. G-Package Manager's entire set of packages is displayed right now through GCentral. And you can use gpackage.io to upload your packages right now. So it's kind of where we want it. We want this experience to be, more or less. Nonetheless, here are the different facets. Now let's talk about where we are and what progress we've made. So in Q3 of 2019, we incorporated, and right towards the end of Q4 2019, we got our first major financial donation. So we're really excited to have that capital in hand, ready to put it to use. Part of becoming a nonprofit is submitting an application to the IRS for what's called a 501c3 status, and that takes on the order of about 4 to 6 months for that application to go through the IRS and for it to come back. Until that comes back, the money that we're collecting is being held for us by the Austin Community Foundation, for which we're very thankful for. So once we get our 501c3 status, the money will be released to us, and then we can begin to actually put that money to good use. In the meantime, we're defining features for GCentral.org. And that's why I wanted to share with you the structure of GCentral. When we say features, we might say, well, what do we mean by user? What kind of information do we want to track? We want to identify volunteers. And then right towards the beginning of Q4, maybe late Q3, that's when we expect the IRS to come back with our 501c3 status, and then we can start putting that money to good use. So that's kind of, in broad strokes, very high level, what's gone on and what we see kind of moving forward. And we're really excited about it. Other things that are going on. We're defining what GCentral should be and what we should be doing. Now, right now, when I say we, it's a couple of folks inside of GCentral, but we are inviting everybody to form what are called user stories in our Git repository. There are 25, 26 user stories right now. I would expect there to be hundreds of user stories, and we need your input. We're going to talk about how you can give your input and how even to do some implementation. So we're pretty excited about that. The whole entire point is right now, we're asking, what do we want GCentral to be? And the we here is that entire community that I mentioned beforehand who we are attempting to serve. If the hobbyist isn't served, if the consultant isn't served, we've failed. So we want to make sure that we are all collectively designing this experience. And now we get to our call to action. Here's where we can roll up our sleeves. You can actually contribute to the indexer. And I'll show you how you can do that here in just a moment. There's all kinds of information inside of our GitHub. You can create feature requests by making those user stories. Please discuss your thoughts on LabVIEW. I mentioned that we have a GCentral thread, actually an entire forum, just to discuss and figure out, well, what do we want GCentral to be? And then you can follow us on, or follow GCentral on social media. If you go to the bottom of gcentral.org, you'll see the links to our Twitter account, LinkedIn, all of that goodness. And then lastly, we are gathering feedback. We want to, if you can measure it, you can fix it. It's one of my favorite sayings. And as engineers, we like to instrument, measure, and then respond. The GCentral survey is going to be a yearly survey where we're asking the same set of questions, maybe tweaking them a little bit from year to year, but we're going to ask things like, where do you download your code from? And one of the answers is gcentral.org. There aren't too many downloading from right now from GCentral because we're brand new. But as time goes on, we hope to see more people using GCentral and be able to share with you, this is what people think. So please take the survey. And if you go to gcentral.org, you'll see a link to the survey from the very, very top of the page. It takes about 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. So please join with us there. In addition to giving us your thoughts and your feedback, excuse me, you can volunteer your professional services. Perhaps you're part of a consultant firm that puts together web pages. Please reach out to me, info@gcentral.org, or I think that my contact information, I'll put it inside the YouTube link, et cetera, et cetera. Please reach out to us. If you would like to help make this a reality, we want to celebrate you as you help make this a reality. So what that means is, in the same way we've talked about studio bods and Soliton, if you want to contribute, we want to make a big deal out of that and make sure that people know you helped make this a reality. Obviously, again, GCentral is a nonprofit organization. All of these, the creation of the infrastructure, its maintenance, forming this consortium of volunteers and perhaps even paid consultants, this is all going to take money, and not just in the short term, but over the entire duration of GCentral's life. And so we've put together an entire series of packages for sponsors and donors that you can find, again, through gcentral.org by going to the sponsors and donate page. We welcome feedback on that. If you would like to act as an advocate inside of your company to maybe say, hey, I want to go to my management team and say, this is a really great idea, we should be investing in it, please feel free to reach out to us so that we can give you perhaps the questions to ask or some marketing material so that you can make that conversation as easy as possible. And then invite us into your company. So that's one way that this can work. For all of the CLAs and champions out there and certified LabVIEW developers, we desperately need your partnership, both personally, financially, as well as from those companies that you might be representing. So please reach out to us, and we'll be reaching out to you all as well. Here is by far the easiest thing that you can do in the next 5 minutes. So on GCentral's FAQ page, the fact page, one of the questions is, how can you spread the word? Well, there's an animation there that talks about how you can go into your ni.com profile and simply add this string that you see at the bottom of this slide, which my face is covering right now. Hold on. Let's get rid of me. Yeah, so you can take this string and simply add it to your ni.com profile, and GCentral's image, as well, it's a clickable link, will show up everywhere you've made a post. And the more folks start to see this icon and start to click on it, the more valuable GCentral is going to be. So again, this is maybe 5 minutes, more or less, and there's an animation that walks you through it. I want to give some closing thoughts before I talk us through how to go to the GitHub repository, and so you can actually download some stuff and perhaps contribute. Here are our closing thoughts. Our community is strong, it's capable, and it's willing. And I bring the evidence to bear. VIWeek is happening right now. We are a passionate group of people that wants to grow our community and invite folks in to make a difference. We are a capable group of people. I still can't get over how quickly Derek was able to put together the VIWeek portal. I mean, he just did it. Wow. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on what our community is capable of. And we are willing. So I submit, the future is ours for the making. We can make it a good one. It's going to take a collaborative effort, us actually bringing our skills to bear on some problems. It's going to take financial donations, but it's ours for the making. So let's make it a good one. And on that, I'm going to take us into the GitHub repository for GCentral, and then we'll wrap things up. All right. So this is the GCentral GitHub repository, and you can get to it. Let's go back to our community resources. And then if you click on the GitHub repository, it'll take you right to where I was. Click on website. Welcome to the GCentral Indexer repository. The GCentral Indexer is that center part that will display all the VI package, or I'm sorry, all the packages that are available for folks to download. And we want to help you get started. So we've put together some documentation on our wiki that'll walk you through how you can do contribution. So we have some contribution guidelines, we have the contribution workflow, and we even have a step-by-step on how you can set up a development environment. You might be new to Git, and that's totally fine. We want to make this approachable for you by giving you some step-by-step instructions. And we want to make the code easy for you to get your hands on. Git is a fantastic tool for us to collaborate on GCentral across the world. A couple of things to note. The indexer is actually made of two parts. The back end that forms the dictionary, if you will, of all the packages, and then the front end that presents that list and allows you to interact with that list and do downloading. So that's the back end and the front end. The back end is all written 100% in LabVIEW, the current LabVIEW of today. And the front end is written 100% in LabVIEW NXG Web VIs. So the first thing that you can get by going to this repository, you can actually see how to do some web stuff in LabVIEW and LabVIEW NXG and see how these two things can work together. The second thing is we're attempting to set some best practices, some ways of doing Git that you may or may not be familiar with. So simply by seeing how things are organized and what the workflows are, we hope that this will serve as a model for maybe you as an individual or as a part of your business. And then lastly, you can download the code and get your hands on it and actually start to make some contributions, and we would welcome that. So again, you can go to how to set up your development environment, the contribution workflow, how we do code reviews, release cycles, all that stuff. Now, right now, the setting up of the development environment, it's just a link to gcentral.org. But we're migrating all of these steps that I'm about to show you over to the GitHub repository. So this is the step, like how we recommend using virtual machines, how to create a virtual machine, how to install the software, how to get the repository. I mean, it's step by step. And we have Quentin Aldridge to thank for this. He did an incredible job. So I could spend a lot of time on how the repo is organized, et cetera, et cetera. One other thing that I want to draw your attention to, I've been using the word packages a lot, and I fully acknowledge the concept of a package might be new or unfamiliar to a lot of folks, and that's totally fine. You might be, what is all this about? Let me see if I can get to this right quick. Wait for it. Right. So NI has just released some training on code reuse strategies. And I had the honor of introducing this code reuse strategy. One of the 10 or so small 10-minute videos is on choosing a package tool for you, where I describe what a package is. Here's the short of it. The package is a way to deliver code in the minimum number of clicks for a consumer. So that is to say, I can give you a single file, you double click on it, and just magic happens. Everything necessary to install that code to the IDE, including things like sometimes palettes or the registration of DLLs, all happens by these packages. The other cool thing about these packages is packages can depend on one another. So let's say I release a package, and I'm going to make this up. Oh, let's say that it's the GCentral code. Well, I could release that code and say this package depends on OpenG. When you double click on the GCentral package, it automatically will install all of its dependencies like OpenG. So packages are a very powerful way to deliver code in atomic, nice reusable bytes. And we go into a lot of detail about how do you design a package, which package manager is right for me. Because remember, we have 3 package managers in our ecosystem today. So that's just about all I have. Looks like we're about 40 minutes in. I am so excited about what we have waiting for us. In case you haven't seen, I want to take us just as a last closing thought to the VIWeek portal. This is where you can find out what's coming up next, what's actually going on. So you can see things live, which is pretty cool. And yeah, we're just really encouraged about everything that's gone on inside of our community, and we hope that you are too. I am personally inspired by what you do. You excite me, and I think that we are just at the tipping point with the advent of LabVIEW Community Edition, GCentral, these different package managers. The future really is ours for the making. So let's make it a good one. This is Chris Cellino from GCentral signing off.